So today I want to talk about when you can't decide. I mean, not the productivity version of the problem, but the real one. I've been designing, managing creative projects for many years. I know how to prioritize, edit, sketch, plan. I know how to publish, execute. That's not a problem. 2 weeks ago, I was in front of my printing materials. I was staring at my spoons, the ink, the materials, the fabric, the acrylic plates, and I just stood there doing nothing. Not because I don't know what to do, but because I knew how to do 40 different things and none of them felt like the right decision. And there's a Japanese character that describes exactly that and what to do about it. My name is JS, and this channel is called Kanji, where each video takes a Japanese kanji character and uses it to concretely visualize something that you have felt but could not name. And let me be very clear, this is not a language learning channel. There's a specific kind of stuff that comes after you've learned everything, you've mastered everything, you know how to deal with your projects. After the serious work has been done, it looks like paralysis, but it's not. That feeling has a name. It's called Ketsu. You know this feeling. Here is what it actually is. You spent years building up craft, experience, taste, judgment. And somewhere along the way, that reservoir lost direction. Most people who recognize this go looking for none of it works. Because the question you've been asking is, which direction should I go? When Ketsu is asking something completely different. The question is not which direction, but what's the wall? Which brings me to what Ketsu is actually built from. Because when you trace it back, past the modern form, past the dictionary definition, you find two ancient components. And one of them is actually not what you expect. When you look at this character, what's on the left is what's called the water radical. And on the right, it's this. Two scholars of Japanese kanji characters have different starting points, but basically came to the same conclusion. This is a notch, a gap, a point designed for release. You see, in the ancient Yellow River Valley, controlling the water was how societies actually survived. Ketsu described both the levee that broke, catastrophic failure, and the levee that was deliberately cut. An engineer in flood season deliberately opening a levee to direct flood water into a designated basin was the heaviest decision in ancient water management. Because once you made the cut, the water found its direction. Stop and feel what that means. Cut, the water finds its direction. A decision is not a selection. It's not choosing the best option in a list. So that what's already there can find a direction. But what does that feel like in the body? And for that, Ketsu borrows a different image. The ancient form of this character almost certainly depicts a thumb ring of jade or bone notched on the inside, worn by archers. The ring let the archer draw to full tension, holding enormous force in one thumb joint. Then, a small rotation of the thumb, the string slips from the notch, the force becomes motion. The force wasn't generated by the release. You have the capability, the craft, the 20 years of serious work. You've been pulling back for a long time. And when you finally rotate the thumb, relief. That's kokoro yoi, the sudden clearing. Something that was pressing, then released. Here, kokoro yoi shares the same root as ketsu, but uses the heart radical on the left rather than the water radical. When you make a decision, a real one, you feel kokoro yoi, comfortable, relief. Not because the outcome is guaranteed, not because you chose correctly. That's the diagnostic. If you have made a decision and you do not feel that clearing, you haven't made the cut yet. So here's what I actually did. Not a framework, but a reorientation. I stopped asking and I started asking, what is holding all of them back? What's the specific wall? People at this level of craft don't lack any direction. The problem is that they have been trained to seek clarity before cutting, see the whole path, know the outcome before committing. For me, the wall was one sentence. The workshop materials I kept staring at as not ready were ready. That was the wall. Not the direction, not the decision, one sentence. The ancient engineer who breached a levee did not know exactly where every drop of water was going to land. They knew the general gradient, they knew the direction in which it would go, they knew where the next basin was, and they knew also that so here's the move. Name the wall, not the project, not the direction, the specific thing that the wall is made of. Is it, I don't know if this is for me, or is it, I'm not sure if the audience is there, or is it, what if I commit and it's the wrong decision? Leads to an irreversible flow. Not the whole decision, not the finished thing, not the complete clarity. The first breach, the one that commits the water, that's the cut. The levee engineers in the Yellow River knew that the breach was really dangerous. Once the cut was made, the landscape was changed permanently. And that's exactly the fear that you're having, I'm having, when we make a crucial, important decision. The ones that commit the water. And that fear is not evidence that you're not ready. It's not evidence that I'm not ready. It's just proof that you understand the weight of the thing, whatever the thing is for you. Ketsu is thousands of years old, and it's been used by engineers, government officials, lawyers, judges, rulers. And in every domain, it's meant the same thing. Not, I have chosen correctly, but I have given water a direction. And it's different than making a choice. The water was always there, your capacity was always there. The decision, Ketsu, is not the discovery of what you should do. You're not stuck because you can't decide. And the breach feels dangerous because at that level of craft, you understand that it's real, that it commits the water, that it changes the landscape. Make the cut.